show over. Welcome to MOT Tonight. I'm your host, Luis Acevedo. Mick will be in here shortly. I know that this is probably confusing to some of you on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, because we were just live moments ago. But as you witnessed for like the third time, we were just booted off of TikTok Live. But thankfully, we got backup on backup because we know how the game goes. When you're over here talking about truth, and you tend to get a little intense in your speech, the algo doesn't like it. TikTok doesn't like it. People on TikTok don't like it. It can be quote unquote offensive. So, we got to just have backups on backups, which is what we're working on, which is what we're doing. I would really like to have Rango. That's right. I would really like to have a setup like somebody like an Andrew Tate type character who I love it because it's the truth. That's right. Rango didn't like it. That's right. So Andrew Tate, right? This dude has he's all over your For You page. At least he's all over my For You page. And he's everywhere. And so that's what MOT is going to be doing with all of our platforms, right? Like I really want to make dedicated clip channels. I really want to make just a variety of MOT channels on TikTok. That way we just have so many places to go. So many places to go. That way, like, suppression is beat. We beat censorship. I follow people who have had like 40 Instagram accounts. They just keep coming back. They just keep rising. They don't stop. They just keep gathering large followings. So MOT is going to be doing the same thing. We're not stopping. They can't hold us down. Watched the vid of Tate that was downing America, and I lost all respect for him. He's right in his analysis of America, though. I mean, you tell me where he's wrong. You tell me where he's wrong in his analysis of what's going on in America today. I think that his points are very valid in regards to America. But maybe you have a take on it that will prove him wrong. He speaks truth. He does speak truth. I really like Andrew Tate. I think that it's interesting the way he made his money. Not just America. This is true. It's not just America either that he talks upon. It's interesting the way that he acquired his wealth through OnlyFans. And it is sort of degrading in a way, but yeah. Bro, don't live here, so don't speak on it kind of thing. I'm not downing his country. He knows what he's talking about as well. Yes, he does. Well, I mean, he is from America. He is American. But this isn't an Andrew Tate show. So I have mad respect for him. I want to copy some of his methods. So why is being vegan wrong? Overconsumption of meat is one of the biggest issues we have in America. It's not. Does the research? Many people don't. I haven't heard about Bill Gates in a while. We'll get into it. What's Elon's plan? Transhumanism. It is. It isn't. So the issue is factory farms, processed foods are the issue. See, vegans and vegetarians, they actually get a lot right about our food system. Most farming is to feed animals. Yeah, so factory farms, processed foods and meats. What's transhumanism? Merging with machines and uploading your consciousness to a machine so you can live forever. That's the ultimate goal of it. We can dive more into that later if you would like. Or if you have any more specific questions, we can do that. We no longer farming heritage animals. Bob Evans is hiring. There you go. Yeah, so I mean, sounds lit. It's not lit. Yeah, that sounds like Elon. It is with his company Neuralink, SpaceX. SpaceX, I believe, is sort of a distraction that will lead people into putting on the spacesuits, which the spacesuits will be the metaverse suits, and VR will take you to space. I love meat way too much. I can never give it up. Don't give it up. Don't give up your meat. Keep your meat. Save your meat. Heritage animals are what can help us down the line because of their genetic codes. Less meat is best. Less meat is not best. Humans are carnivorous. Fact. Everybody wants to say we're omnivorous. It's insane. We're not. Humans are meat-eating machines. We're supposed to be eating on animal products, primarily raw animal products, raw milk, raw steak, raw liver, raw kidney. Now, I don't eat a lot of raw meat these days. I used to eat quite a bit of raw meat. I've slowed down quite a bit. How do you explain your teeth? What do you mean? I got canines, bro. I got canines. Yo, for real, someone should buy up land and raise they own bison. There you go. I get it. I don't like majority of veg, so without meat, I would be funked. Yeah, vegetables aren't good for you anyway. You can't digest them properly because you don't have the fermentation process in your intestines as a cow does, as a gorilla does, as any vegetarian or herbivore does. There's nothing like fresh medium rare steak with, I mean, raw steak is probably the best. Those are not the same as dogs, wolves. It doesn't matter. They're made for a human mouth. What you're saying is irrelevant. They're made for our human jaw and our human mouth. We have canine teeth. To deny that we have canine teeth, you can't deny that. I mean, you can deny it. You actually can deny it, but you're wrong. And that's okay. Meat, it's what's on the table. Exactly. Nobody says, you better bring home the broccoli, honey. No, they say, bring home the bacon, honey. Bring home the bacon. Nobody says, you better bring home the cabbage, honey. No, they say, bring home the bacon. Because everybody knows bacon's the good stuff. That's marketing. Oh, my gosh. You're no fun. It's probably because you haven't had a steak in about 3 years. You need to get some steak in you. You need to get revived. You need to be revived. Have some bacon, dude. Our canines used to be larger until we became gatherers and farmers. That's a theory. Right? That's a theory. I mean, they say our jaws used to be bigger with our wisdom teeth and things of that nature. It's a theory. Could be 100% right. I don't know. I don't think any of us actually know. Maybe you do. Maybe there's actual proof. I don't know. That sizzle when that meat hits it. That's what I'm saying, man. Or just raw. Like if you get a raw grass-fed steak, that's really good. Get some raw fresh eggs on the side for a drink to flush it down. Oof, really good. But one thing you don't want in there is a freaking head of broccoli because you won't be able to digest it properly. But I don't buy or store over consumption. That's good. Nice ribeye. Ribeyes are really nice. I like ribeyes. I like filet mignons. I like a New York prime as well. I grew up with my family wasn't poor, but my dad grew up very poor. And so one of the steaks that we would have all the time, because it was one of his favorites, was cube steak. So I don't mind cube steak. Let's get them facts. Why is meat better than veggies? Where are your sources? We're not going to do sources here for the thousandth time. You may have not known this, but sources are irrelevant when I am talking with anybody who tends to disagree with me on the internet, because it doesn't matter what my source is, you'll disagree with it. So it's okay. So we won't talk about sources, but rather we'll talk about biological facts. All right. Your intestines is very similar to that of a dog, to that of a cat. And additionally, your digestive tract is designed not to ferment the meat. Not to ferment food. And in cows, they have a fermentation process, which is why a cow will have to chew the same, wad of grass about 100 times. I have an interview with Dr. Natasha Campbell McBride. It can process bark, but not corn. That tells me all I need to know. Yeah. So if you look at my interview on the YouTube channel, MOT Media, with Dr. Natasha McBride, I believe we talk about this, but she also has other interviews where she talks about this as well, where the cow will have to chew the same wad of grass like 100 times. So they swallow it, they go through their fermentation process, regurgitate it, chew it again, swallow, ferments, regurgitates again. Also, they have multiple stomachs. So And nobody in nature, no human being, ever did a vegetarian or vegan diet. In nature, it's like obvious. They say we share 93% of our DNAs with chimps, but also 60. Yeah, I mean, it keeps changing. They keep moving the goalposts with our DNA as well. I don't buy a lot of that, but who knows? Who knows? So when you look outside, nobody's ever like, man, that tree and those leaves look appetizing. They don't. They don't. But people do look at a steak. I mean, why? Tell me why vegans make meat-like products, make animal-like products. It's because you are deceiving yourself into thinking you are eating meat. But then on the back end, you're like, oh man, I'm not eating meat. I'm a good human. I'm saving the animals. So it's like it has to trick your mind. So you have to play a trick on your natural biological being. You have to. 80 with a banana, that's crazy. Yeah, it is pretty crazy. And Mick said that he'll be in here soon. But yeah, so veganism is becoming very popular. Well, that's what I read, but I think everything on the planet is made from the same stuff. Probably fundamental. I mean, yeah, probably a lot of it's made of the same stuff, especially when you get down to like the molecules, the atoms and things like that. There's a lot of similarities, I'm sure. That's probably true. Yeah. And so if you look at what's taking place too, why are all the mainstream media outlets and people like Billy Gates making synthetic foods? Why are they pushing synthetic foods on you? You know, it's very ironic that the vegans tend to know so much truth. Why vegan not good? Because it's not natural. You don't see it anywhere in nature. It's all man-made products. I mean, I know I made the argument earlier that man-made is still natural, so it kind of is, but it is not your natural diet. It isn't. Nobody in nature has ever had a vegan diet. Bill Gates is that's what some people think. That's what some people think. So it's kind of ironic that, the vegans and vegetarians know so much truth. They do. They call out factory farming. They call out big pharma. They call out big farming, right? Big ag. They call all these places out. But then they depend so much on big pharma because they need their supplements for people so they can blame someone. I do agree with that. I'm not disagreeing with that left-handed chemist. He is for a lot of people. I'm not scared of Bill Gates. I don't blame him for a lot of the things, but there are some interesting things about the man. I mean, why is he buying up all the farmland? But then again, he's also promoting synthetic foods. Very suspicious. Very suspicious. What kind of diet then? Raw animal foods. Elon Musk will be the next Bill Gates. I think you're right because Elon Musk is the spearhead for transhumanism. Yeah, there are some serious issues with the way farming is at the moment, but we need to do it. Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. This is something my wife and I have talked about quite a bit, that while there are a lot of bad things in factory farming, hormones, etc., a lot of people would struggle without it. They would. Yeah, raw carnivore is the pinnacle of eating healthy. It is. And I'm not I can't talk too much on it. I'm not in the best shape in the world. Bible says vegans make you more susceptible of spirits. I don't know about that. Meat helps produce testosterone. Testosterone is someone like Phil. That's true. It's very true. It is his enemy. It is his enemy. Food shortages. There are a lot of alternative food shortages of something, buy something else. Yeah, so what the real issue here is supply chains, right? So supply chain breakdowns are going to cause said food shortages. And the reason they're going to cause the food shortages is because most people rely on your big box retailers to get their food. Walmart, Meijer, these sort of places to get their food. Most people are unaware that they have a local farmer near them. There's farmer markets going on, that they could probably have a couple chicken in their backyard, grow their own food in some way, shape, or form. So the reason it's going to come about is not so, and it's also not going to be like a lack of food, but it's going to be more of a lack of nutritional food. is really going to be the issue here. I mean, bread lines are always going to be around, right? I want Elon. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. I got to make Viral Frequencies a moderator. Boom. We also going to make Hey Buddy 4495 a mod. Boom. There we go. Got 2 mods in here. You guys know what to do. Uh-oh, here comes Mick Daddy. What's going on, man?
Not much. Hey, I'm trying to get my headphones to work, so.
Yeah, take your time. I got some questions in here. Most people like 5% of the variety in the store. Yeah, I agree with that. I need to find one. Yeah, for sure. Pork went up in price. People just stopped buying it. Yeah, well, it's really interesting because a lot of the prices only went up in Walmart and places like that. You go to farmers markets, you still get things relatively cheap. You go to a local farmer, you still get them cheap. Prices haven't changed at the farmer I went to. Nick just went to a farmer's market where he got a dozen eggs for $2. That's actually a really good deal, especially organic eggs. Usually your organic eggs at the grocery store are going to be like $4 or $5. So if you get organic eggs from the Amish for $2, that's a heck of a deal.
Yeah, it was a pretty reasonable price. I don't know exactly how much it was, but yeah, it wasn't like $5 or anything.
Yeah. So, and I know this is like more off camera, but I wasn't trying to come across as rude when I was like, okay, question mark. I was just interested, like what you were like. I was like, okay, it sounds like a good deal.
Yeah, it's definitely better to try and get stuff from, the farmers markets and stuff if you can.
100%. But we can pick up where we left off. So we were, Mick and I have this Heyo family finally alive with some good topics. Yeah, so stay in here, enjoy it. Thank you for coming in. So Mick and I, and mostly everybody else in the world, pork and beef shortage, less obesity in the U.S. No, obesity is a result of sugar and carbs, not meat. If you're eating fats, saturated fats, high cholesterol diets, you'll lose weight and you'll be healthier, a lot healthier. Meat processing is whack. Is a wreck.
I'm still here.
Yeah, I got you. And also there isn't a beef or pork shortages. The only way that there's beef and pork shortages are at your big stores. The farmers I know, the farmer markets that we know, they're not a short supply of anything. They're not. It's the big stores that rely on big supply chains. The places that rely on small supply chains that are locals, they don't suffer nearly as much. These are truths that we're coming to see.
Yeah, but Louise, what do you think would happen if like everybody tried to go to the local farmers markets? They wouldn't be able to keep up with the demand, would they?
Yeah, so that's a really great question. My wife and I were just talking about that, and we are a few years ahead of schedule. This is typically how it works in my life. Not trying to brag. Mick has been in my life quite a long time, so he can verify this. My wife has been in my life for a long time too. I typically am ahead of schedule by at least 2 to 3 years, hence why we came up with Minds of Tomorrow. And what's going to happen is this. People are going to be going to your Walmarts, Myers, Giant Eagles, etc., looking for food. They're going to be able to get their food. And then it's going to be very hard for most people to get their food because it's going to be so expensive for the meats, particularly in animal products. And so what then is eventually going to happen, you're going to get people waking up to the truth, becoming wiser, becoming smarter. They're going to be like, well, what if we go to the off-brand stores? And so they'll start going to your bigger butchers, right? They'll start going to like a big name butcher of some kind in their area. They'll pay a little bit less. They'll have a little bit more option. And then once they're like, oh man, people are starting to do this. And then it's going to be the farmers markets, and then it's going to be the farmers. So you got probably about, I would say, maybe 4 or 5 years before you have people doing that. And then by the time people are doing that, hopefully you have been preparing yourself and your family to slowly provide for yourself. And then additionally, building up a relationship with the farmer. That way, once that event happens, guess what? There's going to be a cap on how many people can get shit from them. And you are going to be on that list. You are going to be on that very short list.
Yeah. What if they make it like a club membership type thing?
They might. I mean, it kind of already is for raw milk in Ohio. So Very good question, though. It's funny you bring it up because we were just talking about that the other day. I'm going to hit up my local farmers. Do that, Salt Truck.
The local market that I was telling you about was busy as hell last week when I went there.
Yeah.
I don't barely get through the aisle to try and get shit.
Yeah. I don't know that it's going to be consistent, though, especially come wintertime. People are going to be just more reliant on those big stores.
Well, during the wintertime, some of those farmers markets, there's another one by here that closes during the wintertime because, they're local and, they don't grow as much vegetables and stuff during the winter.
Yeah. We got somebody in here that actually runs a cattle ranch, and he says that there is a monopoly in the meat packing section. It's crushing family operations. That's interesting. If you would like to come on, send an invite. I want to hear more about that. I want to hear more about your take on that.
Wasn't the Biden administration saying recently that there was some kind of monopolization as well? Like there was some kind of
yes.
He was blaming the meat industry but I mean, that's what he wants, right? I mean, they want these huge factory farms. So it's interesting that it almost was like he was just pointing the blame, just like, they're always pointing the blame at the oil companies for making all this money, which I don't blame the oil companies, because if you look at the price of oil, it fluctuates so much. It's so cyclical. It's like they have to make the money when they can,
Yeah. I mean, what do you think about Russia now with BRICS, and then Saudi Arabia applying to join, Turkey applying to join, Egypt applying to join, Iran applying to join? They're going to make their own oil benchmark.
I think earlier you were doing a live stream and I tuned in, and I think you were talking about that a little. And I just heard, I think yesterday, today, on something on YouTube where the Middle East is going to be trying to create its own version of NATO. So I guess it would be a little bit different than BRICS, but it's being led by Israel. And it's basically going to be like a Middle East NATO alliance to protect themselves from Iran or something. And it's led by Israel, Egypt. They're talking about Saudi Arabia jumping on board.
Oh, wow. An Arab NATO.
Yeah. I heard it on the, WIN, the Indian news channel. I'm assuming you've heard of them.
Say that again. I'm sorry.
It's WION. It's like an India news network. They talk about all kinds of stuff. Okay, well, yeah, you should check them out. It's gives you a little bit of a different perspective on things, and they were talking about it. I haven't looked into it too much. I just heard about it last night.
Yeah, I just Googled it right now, and it's fascinating. I'll read a little bit on it right now. It's very interesting, and nobody's talking about it. That's for sure. I haven't heard about it.
But it made me think of the whole BRICS thing, because it was okay, well, if Saudi Arabia is joining a group where they team up with Iran and Russia, but then they're also joining this NATO thing, so it's what the hell's really going on? It just made me think about the BRICS thing when they were talking about this NATO thing.
Yeah, so check this out, guys. This was just released yesterday. It says a Middle East NATO, why Iran is closely watching Biden's regional trip in our regional trip. There we go. And so then it goes, the United States President Joe Biden is on a landmark trip to the Middle East. One country he won't be visiting, however, is dominating the agenda, Iran. Biden itinerary includes just two countries, Israel and Saudi Arabia. Those are Tehran's biggest regional foes, and they are coming closer together than ever. The visit comes just weeks after Israel said that it was working with regional partners on an air defense alliance that is led by the U.S. So interesting. This is very interesting stuff. We'll have to look more into this, Mick, and give a better analysis and update as to what's going on in regards to that.
Yeah, I just heard about it. And what the hell was the other thing that we don't have to jump into it right now, but the thing, I don't think you put it up there in the comments, but remember that story it was just the idea that I had about the Utah and the water shortages, and I don't know if you want to talk about that on this or save it for another thing.
No. I wanted to talk about it. I just didn't think that it would. Most people don't know about it, so I don't know that it would have attracted an audience. So,
well, everybody knows that Lake Mead's drying up, and I think that has a lot to do with it. And everybody, if anybody that lives on the West Coast, is probably in the back of their mind. Because I heard that they're just like 2 weeks away from states losing their water rights.
Yeah,
And this was
I
a couple
it's a
days
pretty
ago.
big deal.
I mean, if that happens, I mean, you're going to see some bad things happen in the markets. Like you're going to, I mean, because right now it's kind of just in the back of everyone's minds. But once states lose their water rights, then it's going to be a huge deal.
I agree. I mean, like 2 years ago, I was looking into getting going heavy into water stocks.
Yeah, but then you just bought a bunch of bottled water. Probably a better move. What the hell are the water stocks? What water stocks? You'll have to give me hip to that.
Yeah, dude.
That way I can jump on that shit now before. When I look into that again.
You should. I mean, I should have gotten to water stocks as sort of a hedge against the bear market and crypto. But that's okay. I think water stocks are going to boom.
Water stock. I'll have to look into that.
We got Alt Coaster in here saying bottled water is horrible for the environment.
Well, is it the plastic or is it the water itself?
It's everything.
Everything's bad for the environment, right?
Everything is.
Us breathing right now is bad for the environment.
Yes, this is true. And just like Homeboy from last night, our body temperature, if we have too many people in one area, boom, fire.
Maybe that's what the rapture actually is, you know? Once we get to a certain number, the rapture just happens.
Exactly. So let's see here. Let's see some comments that we've been missing out here. Seize the means of water distributions. Yeah. Why the veggie people not meanness? Nobody's being mean against the veggies. Hey, if you want to eat your vegetables, do it. It's not the best choice you should be making in your life. That's all I'm saying. But you can do it. Yeah. I'm not going to stop you from eating a carrot, but if I could, I would rather give you a piece of sausage than a carrot. Just saying.
Yeah. I mean, me and Louise differ on this a little bit, I mean, I haven't done as much research as you, but what that one guy was saying was really interesting. Have you looked into that more about the fasting and the ketogenic? He was calling it ketosis, the state your body goes in whenever like you start getting hungry or whatever for a long period of time.
Yep.
And it was making me think like, maybe the Muslims were onto something with the fasting, like Islam with the fasting and the ketosis. And then, there's the keto diet. I wonder if that's related to the whole ketosis. And
yeah, so I've heard opposite things in regards to fasting. It's not good for you necessarily because what you're doing is you're cannibalizing yourself, because then your body just goes off of all the nutrients that you have stored. So it's just eating what is already stored in you. So you're essentially cannibalizing yourself, which
would be like a more natural way though. Cause like back in the day, like, I think the people eat so frequently now. I think that's like not how it was back during hunter-gatherer days. Like there were longer periods of time where people didn't have food to eat, like, between hunts. So I think actually it'd be more natural to do this fasting type thing. I bet back, during those times, there may have been days where they went without eating.
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely see that. We got somebody in the chat right now.
Hello, I've been waiting for this day. Oh my God.
All right.
Hi, how's it going? Sorry, I've been too excited for this because there's a food problem in America. Like the way we do food in America is fucking wrong. Like it's very like chemically altered to the point where like it's no longer healthy anymore.
Yeah.
Like it's not even a joke. Like have you actually read the books? Like, okay, there are 2 books that I have read, and like if you haven't read them, you need to read them. They're called Fat Chance by Dr. Robert Lustig, and then Why We Get Fat by Dr. Gary Tubbs. That's his actual name. And they talk primarily about the issue about like how sugar literally has been like embedded into the food that we eat everywhere, like in every aspect, like whether it's like spices, sauces, bread, literally like freaking bread, pasta, flours. Like sugar became like a staple to American food primarily, and only in America, like it's actually a staple to food, which is weird. And that particular issue is like what I did draw like people to obesity, versus like if you're in the Middle East, obesity is actually primarily caused because of sodas. And over here is like it's sodas plus candy bars plus juices plus bread. Like there is a huge amount of sugar overload. There's like definitely all like attacking the human system, and and in turn, like it's kind of like it's causing like this massive obesity problem. Like you see what I'm going with this. Like I've been waiting for years for somebody to actually like pop up and like be on the same page as me when it comes to this shit. Because everybody I talked about it like literally thinks I'm a conspiracy nut.
You're not.
Like,
You're not. Well,
we might not be on the same page. I mean, what are you talking about? I think we all have a little bit of a different opinion, I'm sure.
well, I mean, he just said what he's talking about. He just said that candy bars, carbs, pasta, bread.
Yeah, he said that there's a food problem in the U.S. I mean, I don't think anybody could dispute that.
Yeah, they do. They don't see that carbs are bad. They don't see that candy bars are bad to eat sometimes. They don't think soda is bad to drink sometimes. But all these things are provably bad to drink and eat anytime.
Yeah, I agree.
Process. Like, did you really not hear anything I said? And you just skip to the part where I just say food is bad, and that's all you heard?
No, that's not all I heard. It's just I thought you were just like we were going more into like the different kinds of food, like Luis says, mostly meats, avoid vegetables, and I'm more like just, eat whatever, but yeah, do avoid those bad foods, and try and lower your carbs. What do you eat?
Yeah. Yes? So really quick though, I want to touch on some of the stuff he was saying, because he's 100% right in a lot of what he said. I haven't read those books, but from my research and from just observations in the world, and studying through history, one of the things that I noticed is that things like pasta and plant-based diets and bread, primarily bread, plant-based diets, and pastas, came about during times of starvation. A lot of these things came about because people didn't have the same quality of food they would have had before, so they would eat the carbs, they would eat plants to get the feeling of satiation. And then they've just became over marketing, and because capitalism does take some blame for this. I am not against capitalism, preface. I'm not against it, but it did capitalize on making money from the marketing that one could use from the mass production of wheat, corn, soy, carbs, sugar, all of these things.
Yeah.
And so we then
it's easier to store that stuff, so they could capitalize on it more because it's easier to store it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the purpose of this grains, particularly, especially when it came to like soy and sugar and like wheat and all that, is that they were supposed to preserve food longer. Originally, that was the purpose of it all. And then when they realized we can just make food last longer, we just like literally like fuse it in it, if you will, inject it into the food. Like, if we just were to do that, then we can just make it last longer and just market it to people and say, like, you can actually have this packet meals. You don't have to cook anymore, and your food will last longer in the fridge. Yep. And then the birth of literally pre-packaged meals came about to this point. Like, we have it in the food aisles to this day. And they're the most fattening things that we have in the menu when it comes to, like readily available food in the market. And
yeah,
the reason being is that it's because it's cheaply made, but it's also like the longest to preserve. That's why they say if you're ever gonna buy food for to hunker down in a bunker or something, those are your go-tos to keep you alive. But essentially it's like eating a slow acting poison. Eventually it will come and get you. Now here's the thing. To each its own. I'm not advocating for a diet or something like that. You eat what you eat. It's your body, it's your life. You do what you do. It's more about having the information readily available, so that at least you don't get tricked into thinking that what you're eating is good for you because it just happens to taste good.
Right.
There is a difference. And that's actually the problem, is that we don't have those informations available. We just have we took out the labels, we took out the graphic designs out of labels, freaking Frosted Flakes, we took out the tigers and everything, so that it's not marketable to children as much. But still, the ingredients that make children have diabetes at an early age, they're still there, and we don't have a warning label that says if you eat this, you will have excess calories that will go into your body and affect it in the long term. And we need those. Everywhere else in the world have them. We don't have them in the U.S.
Well, I mean, we have a nutrition label.
But we don't have a warning label, is what he's saying. And I didn't know that other countries had the warning labels. That's
neither did I. I didn't know that either.
Yeah,
they have a.
It's actually like internationally, like everywhere else in the world, is internationally required for food that has excess calories, whether it's excess sodium or sugar or excess calories in general, for it to
Okay.
have a label that says that they have it. And it usually comes in like a little black square. Even Mexico has it.
Interesting.
Like,
Nice. It's like, warning, don't eat too much, fat ass. Like,
You see what I mean? I'm not even making it up.
Yeah, no, I believe you.
it's a shame people are so stupid they need a warning label, though.
Well,
You know what I'm
let's
saying? Like,
be careful, Mick. Remember, hateful behavior is the last time we got banned off of here.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't say the word stupid.
Well, you shouldn't be saying it in regards to people. Guys, I'm not PC, by the way. We're not PC, which is why we have to have multiple channels. So that way, if we get banned, we go live again. Like, we just got kicked off of another channel that has like 37 followers. So then we had to reboot up this channel that has like 38,000 followers. So, anyway, yes, food problem is huge in America. And one interesting fact that most people are totally unaware of is that the first heart disease was found in like the early 1900s after like wheat and carbs were really being introduced to the American diet.
That is a fact.
Boom. Boom. He
That's
gets
a
it. He
fact.
knows
It
it.
was
Yes.
actually literally right before the 1960s. Right before the birth of the freaking prepackaged meals. Like, that's not even a joke. He's not kidding. He's actually telling the truth.
Ooh, he's the first. You're the first person I met in real life in some way, shape, or form that gets it. That knows
Hey,
it.
so guest, basically what you're advocating for is like just people eat like more natural, like no process, like get the processed foods out of here, which I think we all agree with.
No, we're not advocating for eating more natural. That's freaking impossible. Like, you're asking to like do like a complete overhaul. Like, what we're asking for is awareness, actual transparency. Like, dude, if you
Okay.
go to the hospital, like most of the reason why people go to the hospitals nowadays to get like part like medicine for like high blood pressure and like diabetes and shit like that is literally because of their diet. But they don't know that because even the doctors are not aware of the fact that they're supposed to check on that.
Fact.
First of all, doctors are not really nutritionists.
Fact.
So they're not gonna actually like go out of their way to say like, oh yeah, your sugar levels are pretty elevated. Just like take some insulin and that'll be it. And
yeah,
do that. Like, they're literally just gonna say like, take something, or like they might just at first go like, ease upon your diet a little bit, see how that works out, and then come back like 2 weeks later and we'll talk about it then.
Why aren't doctors all around the nation?
Like, exactly what you need to do, which will be like cutting down on things that you might not like.
I'll tell you why, Mick.
Go after the sugars. And now that's
well, I already know what you're gonna say.
Like, we want to cut down on the bread, the sodas, and the candy bars.
Yeah.
So it will suck, but like I guarantee you, like at least you'll be more conscious about it, and you'll be healthier too. Like, it's more about like being like more conscious about the food that you eat, so that you can have a healthier life. It's more about like a long-term benefit than a short-term gain because it just happens to taste good food. Don't get me wrong, I like a candy bar every now and then, but I have to be more mindful about the fact that like if I eat it today, I really have to wait a week before I can eat another one. It's not like I have the luxury anymore because like it's in my head now, it's embedded in my head that I have to be more conscious. Not only that, but I actually got to experience that bullshit about like your blood sugars get so elevated that it literally feels like when you like lift your freaking arms, like you're actually like walking through fucking glass, and it's fucking bullshit. Like, it is horrible. So like, I hope you never have to go through that.
Yeah. So the reason doctors don't say this stuff is because they could legally lose their license because the Hippocratic Oath has changed. And so now they're supposed to prescribe per the Hippocratic Oath like a chemist's drug over changing the diet. And it changed in like the mid 1900s, I believe.
So doctors aren't telling people, hey, you need to lose weight, or it's like
no,
a losing
they are.
battle
So
because
like basically what they have to do legally, from my understanding, is they have to prescribe medication before they suggest a diet change. That has to be their go-to before they suggest a diet change. Or else they could lose their license.
yeah, I don't know. I was just wondering, like, why aren't doctors like rising up and saying, hey, there's a huge
doctors
problem.
are some of the most brainwashed individuals we have because they go through schooling one of the longest. And the third, like one of the top 5 leading causes of unaliving people in America come from medical professionals.
Yeah. Hey, guest, good job, guest. You're You're bringing up some good points. We didn't know that about the Europe warning labels, and
No.
yeah, there's a huge problem, for food in this country, because it's all about like making things more convenient. So that's why like we don't want our food to go bad, So
Right.
like if we can keep it, if it can last as long as possible. So I think that's one of the reasons. Plus, the corporations can make the most money that way because then it can sit on the shelf if it has to. So I think that's one of the reasons why it's been pushed so much. And as far as the doctors not speaking out about it, well, it's because there's another industry that starts with farm
Yeah.
that doesn't benefit from people being healthy.
And I want to say this too, while we're talking about doctors in the medical field. I think that they are extremely valuable to our society. So I'm addressing this because Viral Frequencies stated if people were all healthy, doctors wouldn't exist. I get the point. I really do. And I like the sentiment.
That's
isn't
not true.
though.
Yeah, that's
Because
not
what
true.
happens when you have surgeries? What happens when you are, you have a cold or something or a flu? I mean, these things happen. Even if you are eating healthy, you can still become sick. So doctors are absolutely necessary. We just need an overhaul of our medical system. That's all. The one thing that I appreciate the most about our Western medicine is surgeries. Our surgeries. Those are the greatest thing that we have in Western medicine by far.
I literally was just picking up my dinner just now. So,
Well, what do you have then, guest?
I'm actually having chicken and rice, like white rice and just like plain grilled chicken because my life is miserable. So yeah.
Is this because you have diabetes or because you're just trying to be healthy?
Well, here's the thing: is like I said, I'm happy that I jumped into this slide because somebody actually is in the same topic as I am. Because the thing is, I happen to be allergic to bread, like to wheat and all that stuff. Like I cannot eat it.
Is it gluten?
The only thing I can actually like eat and be, like okay with is white rice. That's it. That's the only thing I can get to eat as far as carbs go. Everything else is off limits. So no pizzas, no burgers, no tacos, no burritos, no nothing. Like it's like literally just like rice. That's it. And the reason why like I cannot eat this stuff is because of the way it's processed. I don't know what's in, like, I don't know what they actually do to process the food, especially when it comes to the carbs, but I cannot eat it. Now, I have had European bread and I've eaten it and I have not had an issue with it. It's like, it's like whatever is in the Western bread is not in the European Eastern bread. Like it's just not there. I don't know what it is.
Well, what happens if you eat this, like just a random piece of like wheat bread or something, like Schwabels? I don't know if you've heard of them.
My skin starts to get rash. Like I start to get a rash on my face. Like it's super fucking noticeable. It gets really itchy. I get like massive heartburn to the point where it literally feels like my chest gets cold.
Is that like the gluten? Is it? There's a word for people like who can't have gluten. Is that what it is, or is it?
It's like gluten intolerance. Yes.
Okay.
It just fucking sucks. I think. And the thing is, like, I just found that out recently. It wasn't even like it wasn't like I was actually like just finding out like as of I don't know some years back, and I started to embrace this way of life. No, it was just recently. Like I'm saying, like about like 6 months ago now, and. Prior to that, I've been living my life just eating bread and all that. Like it was never an issue, not knowing that for instance, like I always thought that I had like terrible stamina. Like I thought like running and shit like that was like just something I couldn't do because my stamina was awful, or so I thought. And it was because literally I was eating all this like food that was causing me an allergic reaction. That when it came down for me like to try to do things like running or stamina-based activities. Like I was feeling this pressure on my chest. It was just a massive congestion due to freaking eating bread. And I didn't know that. And I was just thinking like, man, I'm just like, I have poor like physical stamina. I just can't fucking handle this shit. I'm not built for it. So, so white rice is all I can have. And then, the cool thing is because I'm not eating all this like breaded stuff and whatnot, yeah, like I've lost some weight, but like the fact is, like I can enjoy the things that like would be considered like normal parts of Western diet because of the fact that I cannot eat. My phone is dying. Shit, I would love to stay in the conversation, but I gotta go. Please tell me you're gonna be here again, because I swear to God, I will pop in again.
We're here every day, 7 days a week, pretty much. So.
Oh, hell
Peace
yeah,
out, man.
Hey, by the way, my name is Leo. Nice to meet you. Take care of yourselves. Have a great night.
Nice to meet you as well, Leo.
Peace
Yeah,
out.
that was a really good guess. That was a good guess to have on. He dropped a lot of truth there, and it's very refreshing, because I will say this. I know some people can criticize me on this, but there's a reason why I don't like providing sources. I've said it numerous times, but it is always refreshing when somebody comes on here and then they're reiterating the same things that I've been stating, and then they're like, "Here's some good sources for you to look into," because then it's not me. So, and if he wants to deal with the people questioning his sources, he can deal with that. But when once you're talking to quite a few people every day, and you start giving them sources, it becomes very tedious, and then you have to debate the validity of the sources. So it's always good.
I mean, I'll ask people. I might ask somebody, where you heard this from, just so I can look it up.
Right.
But I'm not gonna like ask for like a link to. Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
And also, it's just like if you're talking amongst your friends, and one of your buddies was like, "Yo, where did you hear that?" Like what you're talking about, totally different. But if you're online dealing with a bunch of trolls most of the time, and they want to know where your source is, are they credible sources?
Yeah. Plus, then you're repeating yourself over and over
Exactly.
and over again. Yeah.
Where is that voice coming from? Mick, we have to build up the other MOT Media channel. I need 66 more followers before we have 3 accounts that go live. So MOT
Go
Media,
to MOT Media. Yep.
Go to MOT Media. Follow that channel. That way, that's our like backup channel. RLT would be on here, but right now he's on StreamYard, and everybody on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch can see his pretty face, but nobody on TikTok can see him. So it's all good. Okay, 2 secs. Thank you, Viral Frequencies. I appreciate that. Follow MOT Media. So that's our third backup channel.
We only need 66 more people. Not even that anymore, probably. So we need to beat this into people's head like every 10 minutes. MOT Media, follow it. Then we'll have 3
as
channels.
you guys witnessed, we get banned frequently. MOT Media, yes, MOT Media. It should just be MOT Media, same logo as the logo that's here. Because as you guys have witnessed, we get banned frequently. So we gotta pay like 3D chess and just make a bunch of fucking channels. That way, if we get banned, got another one. We get banned, got another one.
Yep.
Ban us again, it don't matter. We're going live tomorrow.
We can't be stopped. And
Exactly.
if you guys like sports, check out MOT Sports too. We got a sports channel.
That's right. Done. Thank you, MOT. Thank you, Viral Frequencies. Viral Frequencies. I hope you get better, man, because we are really looking forward to working with you as far as making the clips and stuff. Maybe we'll talk about making a clips channel. That would be really cool too. From all this content that we create and playing Bellied Sneech. I'm not even sure how to pronounce it. Thank you for all the likes. But so let's go over a little bit more about what's going on in Utah. You actually brought this to my attention. I mean, we have covered Lake Mead, but you had this interesting idea in regards to the drought. So let's hear that.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I just saw a random news story saying that the Great Salt Lake in Utah is also experiencing dropping water levels. And then I remembered that the NSA has a huge database center in Utah with like a huge warehouse filled with supercomputers, and they use a lot of water to cool the computers. And so then it like a light bulb went off in my head. So then I just looked up database centers or data centers in Utah. And apparently it's a huge thing there. I mean, they have Facebook has one there. There was another company called like Align. I sent you
Yeah. Yep.
News thing. I
actually
just
have 'em
thought
right
of this
here.
tonight, like just a few hours ago. They're like building another huge one, and there's like a lot of them, you know. And I was like, wow, nobody's talking about this. And I literally just thought about this today. And I remember years ago when they were talking about the NSA one, that people were saying, hey, they're using a lot of water consumption out there in the desert. Yeah, so I think that may have something to do with these water levels dropping, because I'm not sure, I'm not a scientist, but when they cool down these computers, I would assume that this water, dissipate, like it turns into steam and it goes in the air, some of it, but maybe some of it's contaminated. I'm not really sure. I'm not like real big into the whole changes that people are talking about with the the world and stuff, as far as like the clouds and the rain. But I'm trying to figure out like why. I mean, obviously we can all see the lakes are drying up over there in those areas. So I was just, I was like, oh, maybe that has something to do with it. Yeah, what do you guys think? I mean, what do you think, Luis?
Yeah, I think it's very interesting. We got somebody that is inviting us to join their live, but I didn't even acknowledge it.
It's probably Rango.
No, it was some chick. So right here, I don't know, silent, I don't know, planned words. Why is veganism not good? Not a vegan. Because it's not your natural human diet, and you lack, like, what is it, 15 micronutrients, and so you have to take supplements in order to try and make up for the lack of nutrients. But even then, those supplements have no actual evidence to show that they are doing what they claim to do. It's very interesting. So raw animal products are the way to go for humans. Not a medical professional, not a dietitian either. Do as you wish. Do your own research.
Yeah, I think that the veganism thing there is some virtue signaling there, but I think the majority of people who are vegan are doing it because they're trying to be healthier. And I think that it all came about whenever people were like, hamburgers are bad. And, if you eat cheeseburgers, you're going to die. Well, yeah, if you eat cheeseburgers from McDonald's and Wendy's and all these other fast food places, yeah. Because it's pumped with all kinds of garbage, like our last guest was talking about. But
100%.
I just think that a lot of vegans do it because they're trying to be healthier, and they listen to that propaganda. But there is also probably some virtue signaling too, where they're like, oh, plus I'm also helping the environment,
Yeah. So let's talk about Billy Gates a little bit. Your boy Gil Bates. We'll call him Gil Bates. That's what Jay Dyer calls him.
To avoid the ship.
So there was just this latest document that has been revealed about Gil Bates, and the title of this article is "Document Shows Gil Bates has given $319 million to media outlets to promote his global agenda." So what is he funded exactly? Well, NPR, National Public Radio, has received $24 million from Gil Bates. What else? We also have The Guardian. Oh, you guys know The Guardian? $13 million. Cascade Public Media, $10 million. Public Radio International, $7.7 million. The Conversation, $6.6 million. Univision, $5.9 million. A German channel, $5.4 million. Project Syndicate, $5.2 million. NBC Universal Media, 4.3. CNN, 3.6. The BBC, 3.6. What else here? In Kenya, I might make a paper and he can pay me. There you go. Kenya, $4 million. population.
What, just to the
communication.
country of Kenya or a news
No,
station?
no, it's a news outlet. What else? The Education Post, 2.6.
What kind of
The
propaganda is he pumping out to Kenyans?
Well, probably a lot. I mean, Financial Times, 2.3. Texas Tribune, 2.3. What else?
Yeah.
Minnesota Public Radio, 1.2. The Atlantic, 1.4.
What website are you looking at? Where you getting all that? That's
The
really
Gray
cool how they
Zone.
have it all.
The Gray
The Gray
Zone.
Zone. The Gray Zone is fucking based, bro.
Yeah, I like the Gray Zone. Al Jazeera, 1 million. ProPublica, 1 million. PBS, $500,000. I mean, so in total, I can keep going down the list. It's a really long list. National Journal, like $220,000. But in total, the Gil Bates Foundation gave $166 million to media outlets. So you try to tell me, wow, he pays everybody except you. I know, right? I'm glad that we're not paid by Gil.
Yeah, I was thinking. I'm like, nah, we're good. You know. And here's the thing: didn't Bill Gates just recently said that like he wants to like die poor or like he wants to give all his money away? Well, that's what he's doing because you know what? We're gonna take over anyway. Like all those media companies are gonna go broke. They need the money.
Yeah, they are because MOT Media is taking over. You know, we're gonna be the shining hill. We're gonna be the shining city on a hill. Elon is booming. Is a booming business. Okay, yeah. He said his kids will get none of his money. Yeah, and his kids. We can't even go into that. But oh my god, oh my god.
How many does he have? Do you know how many he has?
He has like
Just
3
curious.
kids or something.
Only 3. What a
Come on, you got to pump those numbers up.
Musk is out there turning it up, but I can't say nothing because I only got 2, and
I've had 3 kids in 2 years. What's
well,
up?
you're on your way to
God
3.
willing.
You're on your way to
Yes,
3.
God willing, the 3rd one will come out here fine, healthy. Everything will go smooth. But I'm
It
on my
will.
way to 3 kids, 2 years. I mean, come on, Bill Gates. I ain't even a billionaire, dude.
Yeah, for real, bro. You can just be out there. Dang, bro.
Dude, Elon Musk, for all the things that I disagree with that man, at least he's out here making a bunch of kids. I mean, his kids aren't turning out the greatest either, but that's a whole nother story.
Yeah.
You know, but at least he's out here like, yo, I got 30 kids.
I mean,
That's
there's
cool.
probably some. Well, he only has 9 though, right?
I don't know. I'm exaggerating. Obviously, this is.
I was gonna say. I mean, well, there's a lot of people, you know, who are like POSs who are like probably have like they're out there like I got like 20 kids. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, I would love to have 20 kids. That would be.
I'm
cool.
not saying there's anything wrong with that. I only have 2, and I'm not sure if we're gonna have any more.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit older than you, and I'm not gonna sit here and make excuses and stuff, but well, yeah. That's something for us to talk about personally.
Right,
if we want to talk about it. How many kids do y'all have? Tell us in the chat.
Looks like Viral Frequency has 1. I have 1 19 years ago. Nice. Yeah, you know, and also I'm going to start having to qualify people to step on the chat. So the qualifications, if you want to enter the box to speak with me, you need to have a child.
Oh, I don't agree with that, man.
If you're a childless man, you don't deserve to talk to me.
I mean, I don't agree with that. I think that's crazy.
I'm joking.
Well, what if their kid just died?
I'm joking.
Obviously. Oh, yeah. Puppies, kittens.
Whoa.
Rainbows.
Guys, there's more gravy in this. There's more gravy in the Gil Bates thing. I didn't even see this part of the article. Oh my goodness. You guys, breaking news. Check it out. You guys hear this here first. If you heard it here first, you have to hit the plus sign. And for me, spending my time and Mick spending his time, you guys got to donate some way, some shape, somehow. So
yeah, give us all your money, like Bill Gates would, or Gil Bates would.
What he's done. Oh God, what's he's done now? Plants are carnivorous. They can be. Some plants eat sheep. Most people don't know that. The Venice flytrap is also an interesting one. Yeah, dude, look it up. It's a bush eating sheep.
It's a It's a
Sheep eating
bush.
bush. I had it backwards. Yeah.
sheep. Okay.
Yeah, I know. I sounded a little slow there. Look at that. We got the GG. Thank you.
I saw a little Facebook clip today where a slug got like captured in a Venus flytrap, and then it like crawled out of it because like it's a slug and it can like sliver through stuff. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah. All right. So let's get into this a little bit more. The Gil Freedom to Uganda soon. Yeah. So the Gil Bates Foundation has given nearly $63 million. Huh?
I'm still here.
Okay. $63 million to charity. And then $53 million to BBC Media Action, $9 million to MTV Staying Alive Foundation, $1 million to the New York Times Neediness Cause Fund. And it doesn't end there. International Center for Journalists. International Center for Journalists has received $20 million from the Gilly Bates. And then Premier Time Center for Investigative Journalism in Nigeria, I add you, $3.8 million.
Hey.
The Polster Center for Crisis Reporting, $2.4 million. Euroactiv Biotech, $2.3.
The whole keep MTV alive, that's hilarious. Where was he like 10 years ago or 20 years ago? Keep Blockbuster alive. Like where was what else what else did he let die?
Exactly. And thank you for the TGIF. I appreciate that. And no, I did not say the CDC. I did not. Center for Investigative Reporting, $1.4 million. What? The Bureau of Investigative Reporting, or the Bureau of Investigative Journalism, $1 million. I mean, guys, Communication Consortium Media Center, don't know what that is, but it sounds important.
It sounds like he's just like giving money to like everyone. He's just like he's like the new Oprah. He's like the white Oprah.
Money. He's okay. I stepped out a second. I thought he heard he paid. No. I mean, thank you for the fireworks. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
$1 million for you, $1 million for you, $20 million for you.
And isn't it interesting that it's all media outlets too? I mean, look at this. It doesn't end. It keeps going. I thought that I finished it when I read pretty much all of this stuff.
Well, I mean, it's like what you said. It was like 180. How much? How much was it?
$166 million, but that was just the first list.
Oh, okay. This is the shadow list.
There's more list, it looks like. It's insane.
It just keeps going and going and going.
Yes.
Like the Energizer Bunny.
It's insane. He's literally paying anybody who can write about him. He is. And then you also have the Gil Bates Foundation giving at least $12 million to these places. The National Newspaper Publishers Association. What? Where are you guys hearing this news from? Come on. Where are you hearing this from? Who's telling you this in the mainstream media? Who is right wing in telling you this? Nobody's telling you this. Alex Jones ain't even telling you this. Come on. Right? And Alex Jones, he's controlled opposition. Let's be real. He's controlled op. We're not. You got Education Writers Association, $5.9 million. National Press Foundation, $1.9. Washington News Council, $698,000. I mean, it just goes on. It goes on and on. Oh my God, it doesn't end. And then check this out. Gilly Bates Foundation grants pertaining to the instruction of journalists include Johns Hopkins University, $1.8 million, which, guys, you know what? I want to do an entire stream on this. I'm going to show you guys how deep the rabbit hole goes with Johns Hopkins University. It is insane. It is insane. Nobody really talks about Johns Hopkins University, but the rabbit hole is deep. Very, very deep. They're usually behind. Pay attention now that you've heard that Johns Hopkins University. Next time you see something that has any university backing behind it, any studies behind it, look for the name Johns Hopkins, and I guarantee you, it's going to be like 8 or 9 times out of 10. They are one of the leading universities behind the propaganda. It's insane. It's so insane. Look into it. I will work on putting something together like that. That ain't a rabbit hole. It's a boring company. Yeah, you're right.
Well, and that's just Gil Bates. I mean,
Yes,
There's
exactly.
there's a lot of other extremely rich people who are doing the same things,
Yes.
and
And so
it's not
let's,
hasn't been
I want to
reported.
cover some more of these universities, but yes, the Western system is run by satanic worshipers. But let's keep going down the list because this is very informative. And this is something that people should be aware of when they talk about there's no such thing as the mainstream media being controlled. I'm telling you right now, I'm giving you the facts, I'm giving you the numbers, I'm giving you the data right here. Teacher, college, Columbia University, $1.4 million. University of California, Berkeley, 776. I'm sorry, I'm a little dyslexic. $767,000. Some university in China, $450,000. I mean, it just goes on. It just goes. The World Health Organization, $38,000. What? Let's see. What else? Oh my God, the list doesn't stop. European Journalism Center, $20 million. World University Service of Canada, $12 million. Well Told Story Limited, $9.8 million. Entertainment Industry Foundation, $6.6 million. 38 grand ain't nothing. You're right.
He's just making it rain.
Dude, he is. This is insane. This is insane. I mean, what are some other big names? This list just continues. That's a big list. So that list alone is $319 million. I mean, no, it's a combination. So he spent $319 million, and those were all the places that money had gone to. So that's insane.
That's crazy. How did they even? So this is from the gray zone. Like, how would you even like go about trying to find this out? That's so crazy. Like, does this all have to be, like, is this public record? Like, does he have to? He doesn't have to disclose this, does it? Or those companies may have to.
You know what we should do? Because, and you guys give me your feedback. So you can check out MOT Media on YouTube. We have plenty of interviews on there. I've done over 40 interviews. And I want to bring it back, but I'm not sure how.
We should have Gil Bates on there. You should interview Gil Bates.
But no, what I was going to say is maybe we could get the author of this article. His name is Alan MacLeod. He is an academic and journalist. He is a staff writer at Mint Press News and a contributor to fairness and accuracy in reporting. He is an author of Bad News from Venezuela, 20 Years of Fake News and Misreporting. So maybe we start interviewing some of these people, and then we start learning how they do what they do, because I didn't go to school for journalism. I don't think Mick went to school for journalism. So
actually, I did, but I dropped out. I'm just joking.
I mean, I did journalism in school. You know, I wrote for the paper in high school. I also did some writing for the newspaper and the yearbook. And then in college, I did some other stuff too. But the Gray Zone, yeah, that's a good resource. It's a good resource. I'm going to have to start frequenting it more. But then the other thing about Gilly Bates, Gilly Bates, is that he is now the biggest owner of agricultural land in the U.S. Most people know this. I get it. So everybody that's hip and aware to what's going on in the world, this is nothing new to you. But there's a lot of people who don't know this. Now he's buying up 242,000 acres across 18 states. Sugar is the biggest food problem in diets. They bought ads and post blaming for bad tea. Yeah, they did. Fat is good. Saturated fat is good. You need it to live. Cholesterol is good. You need it to live. I don't know.
Yeah.
Watch us get banned off of YouTube now for misinformation. Journalism is always for sale and owned by rich dudes. Yes, Mick, talk to them for a second. I want to show you guys a very interesting book. Mick, talk to them because I have something to show you guys that journalism mostly is a scam. This is beautiful. This is so beautiful. And this is what real historians do, guys. Primary sources. I'm going to show you a primary source. This is called real historical research. So give me a sec. So Mick,
you're going to get a book?
Yes.
Nice. Wow, this is like back in the day whenever you were in school and you were like, they're like, taking you to the library to go look up a source. And he was talking about how saturated fats and cholesterol are good for you. And, these are some of the things, the reasons why people become vegan, as, we were talking about earlier, because the media tells you that, cheeseburgers are bad and there was all this propaganda, but really it's like if you eat the food from the fast food places, like if you get a cheeseburger from like McDonald's or like one of these huge fast food chains, and everything, the buns and the burger and the cheese, it's all pumped full of chemicals, then yeah, it's going to be bad for you. But if you get your meat and your cheese and even your bread from local sources, then it'd probably be much better for you. I was just talking to them about the food thing, because you were talking about cholesterol and saturated fats. I think there was a comment maybe in the TikTok. I can't see the TikTok comments, but and so I brought it back to what we were talking about how the vegan, a lot of people became vegan probably because of propaganda, because they were trying to become more healthy. And
sure.
Yeah. So right now, Louise is looking up a direct source of information from a book, so that we can be. He's showing you his sources for the first time ever.
Yes. So you guys know that I'm actually educated.
For the first time ever, we're showing you us
right here. Let's bust this out.
Hold on a second. That doesn't look like a stone tablet with chisel marks in it.
I know. It's not legit. Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. So here's the title of the book. It's all primary documents. It's regarding the Gilded Age, and this has to do with journalism. And so this is the start of it, right? So this is the start of it. It's about photojournalism. So I'll read a little bit of this because it's very telling. I didn't highlight any of the stuff in here as to what.
Well, don't do that. That would lower the resale value.
Right. I mean, I don't plan on reselling it, but I get what you mean.
Well, then highlight that shit, bro. I'd like to have a huge library one day.
I have one.
My kids love books, dude.
I mean, I want a bigger library. My kids love books too.
Everybody wants a bigger everything. I think everyone should just move to Texas.
So let's see here. So it says Jacob Riis chose subjects that would both shock and inform his audience. So right there, this is photojournalism. This is the birth of photojournalism. So he handpicked his audience for shock value, right? And then also this photograph capturing an impoverished immigrant family at mealtime challenges many ideals about home and most American ideals. Instead of a home and comfortable, it was dark, whatever. But let's see, a broom on the left seems to indicate the families, but where's this at? But let's see. Hang on, because there's a part in this book where it's like, yeah, all these photos were staged. Like they weren't like actual. I think this one right here, as he did in Lodgers in Crowder Bayard Street tenement, 5 cents a spot. Riis captures the grim reality of cheap lodging. No. Where's this at? So I don't want to have to go through reading all of this.
Yeah, well,
There it is. But his photographs are not unbiased. But his photographs, by nature, are not unbiased. As a social reformer, he was a social reformer. So his day's liberal, seeking to shock people into action. So Riis chose his subjects carefully, often posing them and arranging their surroundings for maximum impact. Artistic concerns rarely inform Riis's photographs. His social agenda did. This is the guy who invented photograph journalism. Listen, this is the guy who invented it. You guys want primary sources when you're studying history, when you're looking up and trying to figure out. So next time somebody tells you the media doesn't lie to you, journalism is true, then tell them about Jacob Riis, how the hell you pronounce his name, who created photojournalism. His social agenda did. and they should be interpreted from their partisan perspective. At the same time, they document fascinating details about slum life and dwellers, including the kind of colors they wore, their personal belongings, and their furnished homes. So the pictures that he took, as we see here, the pictures that he took were all staged. I mean, yes, it doesn't mean that they were living in the greatest environments, but he had an agenda. He had an agenda behind what he was doing, just as every journalist does. And they were trying to sell you on an idea of social reform, which then brought in, I mean, this is a really interesting book. You can pick it up on Amazon. I thought you got booted again. No, this is a very interesting book. You can pick it up on Amazon. Primary Documents of the Gilded Age. The Gilded Age is a very interesting time period in America. And then something else. No, fortunately, we did not get booted. It was just I got a notification. So there's something else that I want to show people too, because people are fearful of communism.
You got a notification, what, just now from TikTok?
No, that my phone was going to die.
Oh, okay.
So
plug it in.
Yeah, I'm going to. There's this other piece of information that I want to share with you guys. Burger King is catering my wedding to care. Yeah, right. So this one right here is very interesting. It is called Law in the Soviet Union. And there's this interesting tidbit in here that I learned as I was reading this book.
No, that doesn't mean it's law now, though, right? I mean, it could have changed.
No, this is for the Soviet Union.
Yeah, so it's probably changed since then.
Well, it's no longer the Soviet Union. The Soviet Union has collapsed.
Well, yeah, but they may have kept some of the laws, is all I'm saying. Like, like murder's illegal still, right?
Yeah, so right here. So everybody thinks that in the Soviet Union, you had no property rights. Well, this isn't true. So the legal regulation of property in the Soviet Union involves a fundamental point of compassion. Where is it? So the abolition of private ownership does not mean, however, that all ownership ceases to exist in private parties. Personal ownership is permitted within the limits established by law. The 1977 Soviet Constitution expressly identifies certain objects of personal ownerships, articles of everyday use, personal consumption, convenience, subsidies, household husbandry, huge, a dwelling house, and so on. This also continues, though, because people also think that they had a collective, they had a collective farming. That's true, but not for everybody. So I'm trying to find where it says it exactly, but I haven't read this book in quite a long time, and I don't like to really write in my books. So I'm trying to find it, but it has to do with farming. And basically, you were allowed to have a parcel of land of your own in the Soviet Union to feed your family.
Yeah, but I mean, they probably did take some people's land, right? I mean, didn't they kill like a whole bunch of people?
Yeah, it was mostly the people who had debt. This is why I also advocate for people to get out of debt.
So they just went through and killed everybody who had debt? Like,
watch your mouth.
Oh, okay. So they went through and
no, they collectivized the farms and people who really had debt mostly.
Well, who were they debted to?
The banks.
The banks of like which country? Like their own country or the Soviet Union or?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know all the history on that, but yes, a lot of the people that got their farms taken away were really indebted. No, hang on, let me get this right. So what happened was farmers who didn't own the land and worked from other farmers, because there were farmers above farmers, if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me on any of what I'm about to say. Do your own research on this.
What are you talking about? They're recording it right now. They're going to make a TikTok video about it.
I know. Good night. Thanks for tuning in. But farmers, so basically the peasant farmers turned on the big farmers, and then they started collectivizing the farmers that they had the most leverage on. You can't say that on TikTok. I know I can't.
Can't say what? Peasant?
No, don't quote me.
Oh.
Man, where is this at? Because it was very fascinating when I read it. Because I was brainwashed like everybody else. Um, I don't know. I can't find it. I'll have to look through it, but this is then don't talk. Well, just don't take everything I say seriously.
Then don't listen.
Yeah. But
Here-
yeah, so this is a pretty good book if you want to know about the Gilded Age, if you want to learn about it. Primary documents, it's pretty informative. And then this book right here, if you want to get the lowdown on Soviet law, if you're not afraid of learning about some good old communism.
Louise, you need to just start doing your live streams in a library. Like, you need to just have all your books behind you, and then when somebody's like, "Where's your source?" just pull the book out. And be like,
book. Oh yeah, here it is. Boom. Yeah,
that would be so sweet.
Have you read the Black Laws Dictionary? I have not. I wanted to order it. I have not ordered it though. It's pretty expensive, especially because I hear that you shouldn't get from what I've heard, I could be totally wrong, but there's certain series that after a certain number, it doesn't have what it used to have in it. I think it's from the first to third series of the Black Law. It has 12 volumes or something. Yeah, it's crazy. But I guess it's whatever the first generation is the best one that you can possibly get. And it's
Never heard of it.
So much gravy. When I talk about natural law and things like that, a lot of it comes from Black Laws Dictionary, the people who really study natural law and understand legalese. You've heard of the term legalese, I'm sure, where lawyers have their own. Okay, so it's like lawyer lingo, right?
Okay.
I heard the fourth is supposed to be the number one. Okay, maybe it is the fourth. You could be right on that. I think you are right on that. That sounds right to me. But yeah, it's a very interesting.
The Black Law Dictionary.
And there's something else. You guys tell me.
Is that what it's called?
Yes, the Black Laws Dictionary.
Okay.
Black Laws.
I'm going to message that to you as well.
Yeah, go ahead. Tell me what you guys think about this too. Mick, share your opinion. I've been really considering doing maybe. Now, this would be something that I would do maybe once a month because it would take a lot of work. But, when I go over it, because I'm a big student of history, as you guys know. I like political history. I like cultural history, religious history. I like to read. I pretty much spend most of my day reading and listening to things, learning. Because I'm privileged enough to, make enough money doing what I do to be able to do that. And then make money from it. So that's also cool. But anyway, tell me what you guys think. If I should maybe do maybe do a live stream where we go over a book and we go over some interesting facts from the book in an entertaining way, right? Not like a dry college lecture, but we actually cover some of the interesting facts in there. Currently, I'm reading this book called The China Mirage. It's very interesting. And it's just about the history of the relationship between the United States. I'm down. Cool. So we got somebody in there that's down. We got, the history between the United States and China and how it's developed. In that book, you learn that Franklin Delano Roosevelt's grandfather on his mother's side, they made their fortune because of the opium trade in China. Very interesting. And there's also another, man, there's so much gravy that I'm learning, that I'm getting from this book right now. So I've also read this other book. It's called The Last Kings of Shanghai. And I'm not going to go and bore you guys with all the details about it, but it's interesting because the Western countries, you guys want to know why the United States really wants Taiwan to be a democracy? Do you really want to know why? Well, it's because the United States and Britain worked very hard to carve off a section of China. It was called the New China. And then they considered old China the rest of China. Okay? I know. I'm trying. He told me to be careful. But I'm just stating historical facts. These are absolutely 100% historical facts. All right. So the U.S., China, the U.S. and Britain wanted to, new China, and that new China was on the coastal side of China, and I think it consisted of Shanghai, maybe a couple other places. Well, the old China, quote unquote, but the real China actually didn't really want to do business with them, but they did business with them. Dude, there's so much gravy in this whole thing, but let me just stick on point because I'm going to start going off on a million points. The real reason we had war with China is because of silver. China wouldn't get off the silver standard. They wouldn't get off the silver standard, but that's a whole other topic. And then
well, hold on a second. Why did we want China to get off the silver?
Because they were taking in all the silver and not reciprocating the trading. They were like, "Oh, you want our Chinese tea? Here you go. You want our silk? Here you go. Oh, you want this beautiful Chinese porcelain? Here you go." And then the Brits were like, "Yo, do you want our British things?" And then the Chinese emperor was like, "You foreign devils, we don't do business with you."
Well, so what? We didn't have the silver to trade them, or like
we did, but then we started running out of silver, and then we were like, "Oh man, we need to add something to this," because China was hoarding all the silver.
Interesting.
Yes, it's super fascinating. Nobody tells you about this shit. And it's all there. It's all there for people to know. But anyway.
So you're saying that you love silver and gold.
Silver and gold are important, yes.
Silver and gold.
But let me get back on point here. I got kind of sidetracked because there's so much gravy with this information. There's so much. It's like gravy overload. Anyway. New China was like Shanghai, whatever. The United States and Britain wanted to carve off. That didn't work so well. Okay. What happened? Well, the whole civil war in China happened. And we were over here helping out Japan. And the Soviet Union was helping out the Communist Party in China that was revolting against the Nationalist Party in China. Because the Nationalist Party came about after the dynasty system fell in China. Okay. Anyway. So we're over here helping the National Party. Communist Party ends up winning. Nobody knows.
At what time period was this? Was this like before World War II or after that you're talking about?
I think it's like right in the middle of like.
Because before World War II or during, Japan invaded China, right? And they massacred so many of them and whatnot. And
yeah, so let me see the exact time frame because I don't remember off the top of my head, to be honest with you. But it was sometime within World War II.
That's super cool that China was hoarding all the silver and trying to make everyone go on the silver standard.
There was a silver standard. Nobody's taught this either. There was a silver standard.
Like back in ancient times, gold and silver were both precious metals, which is very interesting to me. That's why I've always thought that there was maybe some type of ancient technology that used electricity that was hidden maybe when that Library of Alexandria was destroyed. I know I'm like going into crazy theories.
I get into some of that too. But anyway, so you had this huge civil war that took place, right? And then the nationalists went down to Taiwan. And then you know what Taiwan became? The new China.
They fled the mainland and went to Taiwan. See
what I'm saying? Like, this is why we want to protect Taiwan, is because the West has worked so hard to carve out a piece of China and colonize it.
Yeah.
And Taiwan is our ticket, but it's no longer our ticket. And China's like, yo.
That's so crazy that China didn't just take over Taiwan. Like,
they planned on it. Nobody teaches you this either. Stalin and Mao were working on taking it over, but then there were many other problems in the country that they had to focus on.
Yeah, but they probably, but what I'm saying is that, like, if they would have just done it back then, it would have been like, history.
Maybe. I mean, there was a lot of reasons why they didn't do it.
Yeah. At this point, I really don't think it would be. Why? It's not even really worth it. I don't understand, and I want to hear your opinion on this. I don't understand why there's so much animosity in the world. Like, why don't countries just, like, why don't we just want to come together? Like, why is there this animosity in the world? It seems
Yeah.
more heightened than ever. I was talking to the janitor at my work. He's an older gentleman, probably in his 50s. And he was like, I've never seen it like this. And we got into crypto and stuff, and I was explaining how complicated it is. Not. I was telling about how like there's all these fees, and how
Right.
there's all these companies that are getting shut down. Like if you give them your keys, so it's good to keep your keys to yourself and stuff. And I was trying to somewhat explain it how I know. And he was just, before that though, we were talking about how just like the world's just crazy. And he's like, I've never seen it like this. I'm like, yeah, divide and conquer. And yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, the animosity in the world between nations, I think, has to do, fundamentally, it's a spiritual problem. I mean, everything really comes back to spirit. I mean, it does, because we're all craving a connection with God. And so if you really want to solve the world's problems, everybody must be connected with God and following God's path, doing God's will. Then you would have a loving utopia world. But that isn't going to happen because we have free will.
I have a question for you, and you probably have a better perspective on this than me because you've done much more research. So, like, why are there so many religions? When did there start becoming all these different religions? What was the first religion? Like,
I don't know. I don't think
where
anybody
did it start
actually
branching off?
I don't think
Because
anybody
that really
knows.
is where the division lies. That's
No.
that's where the division lies. It all starts with religion, and then it branches off into cultures and societies. But it starts like religion is the foundation, and you've said this before.
Yeah. So I don't think anybody can honestly tell you what the first religion was. And if they do, I think they're lying to you because we just don't know. We don't objectively know what the first religion ever was.
I think I know. I think that the first religion was the absence of religion.
No, because the oldest societies that we can go back to, they had what was called animism. And animism is what they believed, they believed that everything had a spirit and was divine, pretty much. Everything was a living thing.
So animism is a religion where people just think everything is alive.
Yeah, so like let me look up the proper definition.
And you're saying that this is the original religion, potentially,
that we
or
know of. It's like the oldest one.
Well,
So it's
what I'm saying is, I think like the original.
Right here. So yes, I know, but we don't know. So that's what I'm telling you.
Like
But
people
what we
didn't
do
know
is
anything,
this.
and then they started like seeing shit. Like whenever you're born, you slowly start learning things.
Mhm.
Like your eyes open. Because when you're first born, your eyes aren't really open. I mean, I guess they are open. It looks like they're looking at you. And I think they are. But I think originally people like didn't know, but then maybe they did. I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah. So animism means this is the belief, ancient Greek mythology. I mean, so animism is the belief that objects, places, and creatures all possess a distinct spiritual essence. Potentially, animism perceives all things, animals, plants, rocks, rivers, weather systems, human handiwork, and perhaps even words, as animated and alive. And so that is like what we know as far as like the oldest form that we can really talk about, which there is some truth into that. There is a lot of truth into that. But it doesn't mean that like this microphone I'm using has a spirit, but I am sort of imbuing my spirit, my life force, my energy into the microphone that's giving it some sort of life in a way, if that makes sense. But it's not like it has a spirit on its own. It's an inanimate object. It doesn't have a spirit, but I am sort of imbuing my spirit into it as I am doing this work. So the real issue is that there's truth in every religion, in my opinion. And I've stated this numerous times as well. I believe that religions are sort of hierarchical. There are better and worse religions. There are religions that will get you closer to the truth. The one that will get you closest to the truth, I believe, is Christianity. It is the one that will take you to the mountaintop. But all religions contain a kernel of truth, some truth, and can help you reconnect with God. What's the topic? So there were many topics. I took off the green screen. Let me put the green screen back on for you. So those are the topics for today. But right now we were talking about religion. And Mick was wondering why the world was,
we were talking about like what you get, what everybody thinks, like what's the original religion, because I was saying that it seems like religion is like the foundation of society, and that's what creates the division in society. I'm not trying to be like hate on religion, okay, because I've been really trying to appreciate religion lately. But what I'm saying is like religion is the foundation to a lot of people's lives. So religion is also the thing that could divide a lot of people. And then after religion, then there's all the other different things that divide people. And so I was just wondering like what the first religion is, and or was potentially.
Yeah, so I think really what it comes down to, Mick, and to answer your question that's in here, we are talking about religions in general. I'm a Christian as well. Mick, I don't think identifies with a particular religion, but we both can at least say that we believe there's a creator, that there's a higher power,
Yeah.
there is a spiritual.
I'd like to say something. I've been praying. Me and my family, before we have breakfast, dinner, and stuff, we make it a point to pray and thank God before, we eat. Sometimes we'll start eating and I'm like, oh no, we forgot to pray, or and so we pray. My wife is a Christian. She identifies as a Christian. I don't, but I do think it's good to pray. I like to thank God for everything. I mean, so what do you call that? I mean, I guess I'm not agnostic. Do I know there's a God? Yes, actually. I don't know. I'm like working this out right now.
Well, when you have kids, it's very hard to deny an existence of God. And by the way, Maiko, I'm going to let you in a second. Don't you get out of there, brother. I'm going to let you in. Give me a second here. But I want to say this. To answer your question in regards to religions and troubles across the world, separation, etc., I don't think it's religion. Religions do it. But really what it comes down to is the further you go against God's will, the further your society falls, which means the more sinful your society is. So the more sinful your nature and society, the further away you'll become from God. And the further you are from God, the further you are from life and goodness. So I think that's like a really simple way to explain it, in my opinion.
Miko, is that his name?
Yep. I don't know what happened. He wanted to come in. I invited him, or I accepted him, and now he's not in here. Give me 1 second. I got to grab a charger.
Maybe he had to take a poop. Thank you, Miko, for not hopping on when he had to take a poop, because that would have been a little awkward. But yeah, I've been trying to pray, with my kids, like before meals and stuff. And, just because I think it's important to, I don't know, man. I've been just thinking about it a lot, and I've never been a real, whenever I was really younger, I remember there was a period of my life when I was like a very short period. And this came out of nowhere on my own will. For some reason, I was like very, very religious, and I was like pushing it on my friends almost. I was like, there is a God. Really, there is. Like, you should, And then there was a day I remember I had a really bad day, but I don't really even remember what happened. But I remember like being very upset with God. I had a messed up childhood. I don't know exactly. Like I said, I don't remember a lot of things. But and then I don't know. I'm not gonna say that like that's the day that caused me to like not believe. And I'm not saying I don't believe. I don't know. I'm very fragmented in some ways, I guess. But I am, you know, I've been agnostic for quite some time, but I'm starting to, believe. I do believe that there is, a higher power, and I just can't claim to a certain religion. It's hard for me. I'd have to do a shit ton of research. I'm very indecisive when it comes to everything.
Well,
so choosing a religion is going to be very hard.
Well, I think it really comes down to this because I share some of your issues in regards to finding the right religion. I went down this whole path. I mean, you witnessed it. You witnessed a lot of my content on it. Very controversial in my takes of Christianity. You can go on BitChute and see some of them. I mean, I went down a total journey as well. But what I'm coming to find out is there are things that we just need to accept on faith. Like you'll never know for sure what religion is. I mean, yes, I think that you can know what religion is going to be right. So that's not the way that I should phrase it. But for instance, I've accepted that after my journey, but everybody goes through their own journey. So like, I don't want to dissuade you from taking your journey because I needed the journey I took to get to where I'm at. So it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful process. But I have come to the conclusion that I don't understand everything in the Bible. I don't understand everything in Christianity. But I will never understand everything in the Bible or Christianity because there are people who spend their entire lives that live 100 years and they don't understand everything about Christianity or the Bible. And so if you think like that and you realize that I don't even have enough time in one lifetime to fully understand one religion, how am I even going to understand 2 or 3 religions? You won't. It's impossible. Yeah. So then what you have to do is what resonates the most true with you, in my opinion. This is what I've said. So I guess I can't say this is what you should do, but this is what
so it sounds like what you're saying is you should accept it even though you don't fully understand it because you're never going to understand it.
Yes, this is where faith comes in, and there's nothing wrong with it. So like, for instance, I struggled with the Trinity for quite some time, but now I'm just coming to accept the fact that Jesus is God. He is. I'm coming to accept that fact. Whether it makes sense to me or not, I'm starting to kind of get it. But I have troubles with it, logically, as do a lot of people. This is a big reason why people become Muslim. But I have come to that conclusion that Jesus is God. Do I understand all of it? No, I don't. But I accept it upon faith. Do I understand how Jesus is fully God and fully man? I don't. But I accept it upon faith. And there's something really empowering about that. Now, people will make fun. You already know this. People will troll you, make fun of you for just blindly believing something. But you know this, Mick. You know this, that people just blindly follow science. But yet they call you crazy for blindly following a religion. So you don't have to worry about these things. You already know these things are real.
Yeah, people will troll you for anything.
Yeah, so then we got Viral Frequency. He's saying that when they remove books, you don't stand a chance anyway. Well, you do know that the Catholics and the Orthodox have the most intact Bibles, and there's even the Coptic churches that include the Book of Enoch. So the Protestant Bibles have removed 7 books from the Bible. Fact.
Who burned down the Library of Alexandria?
I think it was
the French?
I think it was the Catholics.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. I have no idea. I just was thinking. Yeah. I always thought maybe it was like the French during like Napoleon's time or something, but I'm not sure. But I think yours is actually probably more accurate because that seems like it would be more ancient times.
Yeah, I think it was definitely.
Could you look it up?
No, I didn't. But Tito's in here. He's saying the Catholics, and Tito is a self-proclaimed, one of a kind, totally unique Catholic Protestant.
All right, so we're gonna have to ban him because we shouldn't have burnt that down.
Yeah. Maybe we should have. I don't know. Maybe probably not. But
No, I just that it's.
but did you know that,
that
Nick? Did you know? And did anybody else in the chat know? Unless you're Catholic and Orthodox, you would know this. But did you know that the Protestants removed 7? Actually, they removed I think it's 8 to 9 books from the Bible, something like that.
Oh, okay. So they were all for censorship. Okay,
The
I see.
Protestants, yeah. So Martin Luther,
So censorship was alive and well back then.
yeah. And also, people don't understand this either about the Catholic Church. People want to say the Catholic Church wanted to keep you ignorant. That's why they didn't teach you how to read. False. They taught you how to read the Bible. The Catholic Church taught people how to read for free. They taught you how to read the Bible. Who teaches you that? Nobody tells
Yeah,
you
but
that.
they
all
also chose. It was in a specific language.
and I get that. The first person blamed for the destruction of the library is none other than Julius Caesar himself. Interesting. OG Bible had 88 books. Yeah, exactly. And the Orthodox have the OG Bible.
So Rome, Julius Caesar, that was a Catholic. Rome was Catholic. I mean, I know Roman Catholic. Weren't they Christian at some point? I thought the Crusades was
Constantinople or
Constantine.
Sorry. Constantine.
Yeah.
Yes, he made Constantinople. It's now based 66.
So,
Now
who was responsible for the Crusades? Was that also the Romans?
interesting
That was
book. There's a very interesting book on it. It's called God's Battalion. It's written by Rodney Stark. Dude, that
Didn't
book,
the Rome? Yeah, because Rome changed religions, didn't it?
it did. And if you really want to learn an interesting perspective on that, check out the Jason Reza Georgiani interview with Jeffrey Mishlove regarding Mithraism. I can send it to you. It's very fascinating. It's an interesting, different perspective as to why the Romans became Christian.
Dude,
How
what
is
if
not
the
wanting
U.S.
to
changed
abuse-
religions like that? What if we switched? What if there was some kind of awakening in the U.S. where everybody whole perspectives changed? Because it seems like that's what happened in Rome, where their whole perspective changed from one
Yeah.
religion. I mean, that's a pretty big shift. I guess it's
It
not
is. And
really
the reason
that
they
big
did-
of a shift.
Well,
I mean,
this
from
theory-
Catholicism to Christianity, it's not that big of a shift, right?
Well, Catholics are Christian. Christians are Catholic.
So,
how-
like I said, it wasn't that big of a shift, but at the same time, it was enough to cause the Crusades, or
No, I mean I can't really get into the reasons why the Crusades started. We might get censored, but
okay.
I can do a cover on God's Battalion. It's a really good book. But anyway, Jason Reza Georgiani has a interesting theory as to why the Romans became Christian, and it's because the Persian Empire was encroaching upon them, and they were Mithraic, and the Mithraic religion was taking over everywhere.
So they weren't
And so-
Islam?
No.
Was this before Islam or what?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, because Islam is after Christianity. Mithra.
Okay. So,
was-
I asked you before, what's the first religion? And you were saying it was the animalism, right? Animism. Well, what was after that?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know exactly, but it's like pantheism. Pantheism is what came after that. But once again, nobody knows what the real religion. Nobody knows what the first religion is. Factually, they don't. Objectively, they don't. Anyway,
Okay.
so with Persia, they were Mithraic. They were coming in and going to take over Rome. And so Rome was like, we need a strong religion. And so they basically adopted Christianity and made it what it is today in order to try and combat the Persian Empire from infiltrating them on a religious front, because they had already started sending out missionaries, if you will, things like that. But Jason Reza Georgiani has a really interesting theory on it. Really, really interesting theory. Hinduism is the oldest religion. There's no way to prove that. We don't know what the oldest religion is because we don't know how long we've been on this planet. Nature was the first religion. I mean, yeah,
I would
I'll
like
accept
to
that
say
answer.
Dinosaurism was the first
Yeah, we could say that too.
until
Then we
they
got-
spontaneously combusted because there was too many of them.
Right. I know, right? That was hilarious. So Christine Loves Japan says, how is not wanting to abuse an animal a bad thing? Who says that you have to abuse an animal? You're going off of this false doctrine that or this false belief that you have to abuse an animal to get food from it. There is this thing called Google that can help you. And I'm telling you that what you're doing is you're operating off a belief system that Hinduism is the oldest religion. You don't even understand that. That's how inconveniently I got to watch it. I got to watch the rhetoric I want to use against these people because I'm going to get banned. But
Yeah, we
inconvenient
need.
truth, the inconvenient
think-
truth is this. You are in a belief system right now and you don't even realize it. That's what they did.
I think we got about 10 more good solid. Unless anybody wants to hop on and talk to us.
Yeah, I'm with you because we've been going for quite some time. But let's see, who needs to get blocked? I have the power. Hey, buddy, you do have the power. Hey, buddy,
Power.
that's right. Yep, brainwashed from birth. Yeah, a lot of people have been. I was brainwashed when I was born. You know, my parents put poison in my body. You know, they injected some things.
But you
into me.
turned out okay.
For the most part. But I'm an exceptional man. Oh, I'm just kidding. Kind of.
I think you're an exceptional man.
Thank you, Mick. I think you're a really good man too.
Yeah, but you're not as exceptional as me. You'll always be.
We have somebody else in here that says, we have lots of ideological ideas, but so far none of them have really worked. We need humanology. Yeah, they're trying that with humanism. It ain't working, buddy. Gil Bates is going to make us eat bugs. He's not going to make you eat bugs. Why are you thinking that way? And Meta will only be for the rich to fix global warming. This is a slave mentality. You're worrying about being a slave because you already are that. Don't be that.
He's not going to make you do nothing. The dude.
You could. I can't even see. I got to now just censor myself. I'm pretty sure if things were to get intense between you and Gil Bates, you may have the upper hand. I'll just put it that way. I know for sure I would.
Yeah, he's a scrawny dude. He's got 3 kids and he's just giving his money away like the dude's. He's a bum. And
Exactly.
like,
I mean, come
if you
on. Who
think
wants
about
to
it.
live the life? Really, let's be honest here. Who wants to live Gil Bates' life? I don't.
Yeah, he's probably controlled by AI. In all reality.
I'm the Oprah of blocks. Yeah. Finally found a live that isn't brainwashed liberals. There you go. Do it. No, I don't promote that kind of activity. I'm just saying you have no reason to fear him, and he's not making you do anything.
We
Nobody's
are
making you-
anti-fear.
Yes, exactly. Fear only God. Fear nothing else. If you fear anything else aside from God, you're fearing the wrong things.
Yeah, I've always said, the only way I really want to go is I want to get assassinated by God.
Yeah. So right here it says, I love how BG said one line in TED Talk, and everyone thinks he's evil and overlord. Well, I mean, what he did say was objectively evil. About, pop control. Catch my drift. Reducing the pop.
Well, he's just trying to
reflects
help end
poorly on the
diabetes.
state- So reflects poorly on the state of public education system. Yeah, it does. And also your parents. If we aborted religion from our country, we would fix our social decline. False. That's currently what we're doing. How are people not realizing this? It's so insane to me when they're like, religion causes all of our problems. And then we become less religious. And then look at all the problems society has that you acknowledge.
Yeah, I think people need to become. I'm not going to
He
say
was
people
making
need
a
to become more
legitimate-
religious when I'm not really religious, but I think people need to become more respectful, and they need to become more appreciative, and that's why I've been thanking God encouraging my kids to, that's what we do. We pray. Even though I don't know what the true religion is, I guess I'm a dumbass and I don't know what the truth is. I'm trying to do the best I can, man.
That's all you can do. The only reason there's a food problem is because people eat too much damn food. And a lot of the food is not good for you. You can fit the entire population of Jacksonville, Florida. We are not overly populated. Fact, we're not. And no, what he said was not a legitimate statement. If you support that guy, Gil Bates, you might be just like Gil Bates. And what I mean by that is not something endearing. I don't mean like you're wealthy or you have the IQ of Gil Bates, but I mean that you have the femininity of Gil Bates.
He's like, hey, guys, I'm going to give everyone my money.
Right, exactly. People who don't live on moral high ground of being religious and rather living on human kindness. Where do you get your human kindness from? That's insane. What you're saying is insane. You get your human kindness because we're made in the image of God. You know that inherently, but you refuse to accept it because you have a hatred for God. Understanding proper history is the first requisite for a discussion about religion, education. Totally agree. We need a system where innovation is practiced in the interest of all humans for sustainability. We need a system where innovation is practiced. It sounds good, but how would it work? We would good off? I don't know. What's your best evidence for God? I want to believe. Very simple. This is so simple. Something begot something. Nothing begot nothing.
Yeah. I mean, everything comes from something. There's no denying it.
So there's a creator. And then here's
if you fart, someone's going to smell that shit. Maybe. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe. Depends on what your diet is. But here's something else. So if that isn't good enough for you, that something begot something. Energy can't be created or destroyed. It just is. And everything is made up of energy. God is the source of that energy.
It goes back to the fart theory. Like if you fart, like your energy transmits, you know what I'm saying? Like, and people are going to smell.
Yes, I get what you're saying, but
I know. I'm not. I'm trying
to think
I'm trying to make the common man understand.
People seem to think overpopulation is based on land, but it isn't at all. Okay, you can go ahead and be with your boy Gil Bates. Talk about deep popping. Go ahead, do your thing.
Yeah,
it would work because.
Well, this is another thing that Louise. I actually don't think we disagree on this. I just think we haven't actually had a chance to talk about it. So I want to talk about this real quick with you. The world population is obviously going up, but the whole problem with the population is that certain nations, most of them, other than like China and India or some shit,
India,
they have
Pakistan.
Yeah, there's a few of them, but most nations have like way more old people than young people. Like they're just not, people aren't producing as many kids to like take care of the older people. So the older people have nobody to take care of them. And then you have these issues where they have to go to nursing homes and shit. And then, also there's this like the societal issue where people just don't want to have kids. They want to have like dogs and stuff instead. So it's a very complex issue, but yeah, I mean, what do you think of my thoughts on that?
I'm sorry, I'm listening to you in the chat. Give me 1 second here. Do I have to explain this like we are back in high school? It sounds like I have to explain this like you're a 3-year-old. Overpopulation is a myth. And then you, Van City Saka, however the heck you pronounce your name. Einstein believed in God, by the way. And so did many other scientists back in the day. We cannot produce enough supplies to sustain. You're being brainwashed, my friend.
He was like, thank God for my cousin.
By it's not a myth, dude. For real, for real. It is. It is. And that's okay. I get it. You've been brainwashed. You've been taught to think a certain way. I get it. It's not an opinion. It's a fact. And if you want to hear an interesting theory, Mick, this ties back into what your question was about my take. I don't know if I can say it, but I'm gonna try to articulate it the best way I can on here. I guess I'll just say it like this. I don't believe there are 8 billion people on the planet. I don't even know that there's a billion people on the planet.
Okay, so you just
Sometimes
think
I
that
wonder-
they're lying about it, like the news sources and.
Let me just say this. You know, there's so hard. There's something seriously wrong with you.
But the
denying
world is really big. Louis, let me ask you a question. How much traveling have you done? Like, what states have you visited? I'm not trying to be a dick.
Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah,
wondering.
no. I get it. I've been through quite a few states.
Okay.
More than 5.
Okay.
But anyway, so you know that the way they collect the population, and this not many people talk about this stuff. So the way they collect
nobody
the
does.
population is through birth certificates and death certificates. Now, let me just say a bunch of jibber jabber like Homeboy did last night when he kept wanting to say the N-word. I would love nothing else than to yell it on the TikTok right now to show you guys I don't care about PC, but I want to preserve my channels. Okay.
But he wasn't trying to be mean.
I know. So now that we've already talked about all this stuff, remember what I said about the certificates. We know that there are unauthentic certificates. Okay, catch my drift. Just look at what happened with the last thing in 2020. A bunch of disingenuous.
Yeah.
my
I
drift.
get it. Yeah.
So you can do the same thing with these certificates.
The big VOTE.
Yes. So you can do the same thing with these certificates. And I think that there's a lot of wealthy people who have an agenda behind this idea of overpopulation, that it would not be unreasonable to think they are doing something similar to trick us into thinking we have X amount of people on the planet.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. That could be true, but at the same time, I mean, I see a lot of people. I mean, don't you?
Have seen a lot of people too, but I have never seen. First off, we're talking about one human perspective. If we see 100 people today, there was this Italian festival where I live. Thank God somebody else actually sees it. Yes, viral frequency. We see a lot of the similar things, man. Anyway, we went to this Italian festival near our home today, my wife and I. There were a lot of people there, but there surely wasn't 1 million people. There probably wasn't even 1,000 people.
Okay.
But there sure looked like a lot of people.
Yeah. There's probably a couple hundred, maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
I've been there.
I
like that place.
Yeah. So I think you get where I'm coming from now. It's like, yes, I've seen lots of people too, but you've never seen a 10,000. I mean, maybe if you go to like a football game, but you've never seen 1 million people. And even if you did,
not all at once. No, not all at once. And I
doubt that you've seen 1 million people in your lifetime as well.
Altogether, I don't know. I haven't been keeping count. I don't know.
I know, but I highly doubt that you've seen 1 million people. You've maybe seen a few thousand.
Maybe. I'd like to think so. I've been to a lot of games.
Definitely not. You've probably seen
I've been to a lot of sporting events. If you added them all together, I think maybe I have seen 1 million people.
I doubt it. Let's see what the Cleveland Stadium can hold.
But I've been to probably at least 20 different sporting events,
So the Cleveland Stadium can sit 78,000 people.
Okay.
So if you
Multiply that times 20.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing right now.
And it's probably more than that, to be honest with you. But even so, I mean,
Let's do 20. It's not a million. It is. I'm sorry. It's 1.5 million.
nice. How about to double that next year with
Nice.
MOT Sports?
So maybe you have.
MOT
In my
Sports,
life-
y'all. Check out MOT Sports.
That's right. Can you give me a quick run on why you believe veganism is bad? Because it's fake. It lacks 15 nutrients. I mean, the quickest 15 micronutrients are missing, and you need supplements that don't even really work. In my life, I've met people from 8 countries in total, 2,000 in person and 2,000 online in VChats. Yeah, so that's fair. I think probably everybody has met maybe a couple thousand people. People were eating vegan long before they were eating meat, and way more now. You're insane. I need to watch my mouth. You're not insane. You are wrong. Anyway.
And wrong is kind of like left, but it's not right, you know?
Exactly. So the academia of nutrition and diet, yes, they are 100%. If you're believing anything with academia in front of it, red flag. Really? How did they get meat a long time ago? Did they go to the store? I think that you're a troll. Wind Eagle 0, I definitely think you're a troll because that can't be a real question. And if it is a real question,
they may have had like markets somewhat, but
academia, please read properly. Hey, be nice to me. I have dyslexia. Okay, I'm a sensitive boy with dyslexia that can.
You are really bad at pronouncing shit, dude. Like,
I know.
there's a lot of things I'm like, I've never heard it pronounced that way until you say it.
Dude,
it's really interesting. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with it. It's just like, just kind of like interesting to see inside of your mind a little bit the way you pronounce things.
Dude, I'm not the greatest pronouncer.
I pronounced the Yosemite. I said Yosemite.
Yeah.
And people were roasting me. Is that not the way? I thought that's how it was pronounced.
It's hilarious. I don't even care, dude. Like,
how is it pronounced? Do you know how it's pronounced?
Yeah, Yosemite.
Oh shit. Okay, I have heard that before. Yosemite Sam.
It's funny, I was just talking so I won't go into too much detail, but I was telling somebody about the story how I made a TikTok and I called it the Oil Depot instead of the Oil Depot.
Yeah, I remember hearing that actually. I'm so like, what?
I know, dude. You just got to commit to it sometimes, and I actually do. I haven't been diagnosed with it, but I'm telling you, I certainly have dyslexia. Letters flip in my mind. I have a hard time reading sometimes because they just flip, and it's weird.
Hold on. Don't be saying this on camera. Now they're going to think you have a mental disability, and you're not going to be allowed to have a gun because you have dyslexia.
Dang it. Like, I get my A's and E's confused. I get my numbers confused as well. As you saw when I'm like reading stuff and I'm reading numbers, I'll get you guys witnessed it live on camera. I'll flip things around. So that's very weird. They just, we just went off of TikTok, but we're not kicked off. Like, I can go live again right now. Very weird. Like, we're live again on TikTok.
We're live again on TikTok. Hello, everybody.
Maybe there was a glitch. To be live, but whatever.
Maybe there was a glitch.
Yeah, I think there was because we didn't get kicked off, and I was able to go live right again. Let me just check out the status. We made, about $5 on TikTok today, so that's cool.
Boom! That's what I get for shaking my money makers.
Oh my god. So yeah, I don't know what happened there, but yeah, we just got TikTok just kind of. I don't know what happened.
I was shaking my moneymakers, meaning my vocal cords. I was shaking my moneymakers.
That's right.
Yeah, so I don't know. I just know that the censorship be wild. So maybe we should just call it a night.
For sure. But if you like, we can text me after this and let's float some ideas around because I have a couple different ideas that I want to float around if you have time or whatever.
All right.
And if you feel like it. All right, man. Or we can
Peace
even